day, vivacious viewers. I'm Unsilent, and we're on the air with a vlog. I've done 2 vlogs on the channel. The first was the 100 subscriber vlog, and now it's the 5th anniversary vlog. Steve, 5 years, and all we get is a silly vlog? Well, yes, and a one-shot video that I had a lot of fun with. So if you're watching this as it's posted, sit tight. Of course, if you hit the notification bell, yeah. But if you're watching this more than 15 minutes after it went live, well, you probably watched the 5th anniversary one-shot already, so you're good. Anyway, 5 years of YouTube. I don't think any of you have been around here that long, but this whole operation has come a long way from my old air-cooled PC with a stock fan that makes a jet airplane sound quiet, and a microphone about 2 feet from my face to my new PC with a slightly less shitty mic, but with much less audio cleanup required, much to everyone's benefit, especially mine. From old games I could barely play to new ones that I still often struggle with, and from being former university campus radio news anchor Unsilent to pretty much me. Bad jokes, a love of alliteration, having entire conversations with myself, bad storytelling. Yeah, I'd probably been better off doing a podcast, but I can't say that you're not getting me dialed up to 11. I'd like to say that the barely controlled insanity is a character, but it's pretty much me. Right, so, vlog. 5 years doing this, right. If you asked me if I'd be here doing this vlog back in August of 2016, when I started this whole journey, I would have said no. Though, that's because I had no interest in doing videos like this when I started. If you'd asked me at any point in the subsequent 5 years, then the answer would have been no, because I probably wouldn't make it this long. See, same answer, but different reason, right? I figure, would have lost interest in me playing old games for the first time on a random YouTube channel, but it turns out there is an appetite for rediscovering the classics of yesteryear with someone who probably should have played them when they were new. From starting with the original Doom to scads of classic games from the Half-Life franchise, Diablo 1 and 2, KOTOR 2, Sweater, modded classic hockey, and more, it certainly has been a journey through the classics, and you guys have been along for it. You know what the sad thing is, though? There's so much more. One of the things that gets me is no matter how long I do this, I'm never going to catch them all. For example, if you take a look at IGN's Top 100 Games list, I know, but it's the first list that pops up in Google, so that's what I'm going with. If you look at IGN's Top 100 Games list, I've played 3 of the top 10. Portal 2, Half-Life 2, and Tetris, if you're keeping score at home. And that number goes up to like about 10 from the top 25 and like 30-ish of the full 100. As much as I'd like to get to like even most of them, that's pretty much like an uphill/unwinnable battle. But yeah, 5 years. It's been a long and weird journey from having that clean slate on YouTube and no idea what the hell I'm doing to, well, still no idea what I'm doing, but hey, my PC's quieter now, so that's a plus. It's been fun playing these old games and seeing what everyone goes on about when they talk about these, favorite games or greatest games of all time. And not too surprisingly, I'm starting to agree with you guys on some of these. Like, I'm finding games that I love too. Doing this, I never knew what I was missing most of these games when I started it, but I think the goal was to discover those classics and see if there's all they're cracked up to be. And that was the goal. Force me into playing old games the whole way through, rather than, playing a bit and setting them aside for the shiny new thing. Not that still doesn't happen with my Steam back catalog. It doesn't with the Let's Plays, but my Steam library hasn't gotten any better for doing that for the last 5 years now, has it? But, okay. 5 years, I looked up some statistics too, though, right? So, exactly 5 years ago, August 9th, 2016 was Doom 1, Episode 1. This is video number 1072. This vlog. The next one, the one shot, is 1073. So, video number 1000, by the way, I pointed this out in the thumbnail and everything. It was Pokemon Ruby Episode 31 back in April. Now, of the over 1,000 videos on the channel to date, 219 of them are videos of Star Wars game Let's Plays, which really shouldn't surprise anyone. That's like 1 in 5 videos taking place a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It's just my favorite media franchise in the world ever, so if you were going to get me dialed up to 11, 20% Star Wars is actually probably me dialing it back a bit, but anyway. Other franchises have come close-ish, though. Not a hit, but impacted on the surface. Diablo franchise, next most, 110 videos. Half-Life right behind at 108, which puts each at about 10% of my videos from those franchises. Doom only has 64 vids, which is actually kind of appropriate since I played Doom 64 last year, but it's still some catching up needing to be done. Halo, which only has 32 vids through 2 games thus far, and both still have some ways to catch StarCraft, which is at 73 videos between StarCraft 1 and SC2 Co-op. You tally up all those, and you've got over half the vids closing in on 2/3 of the videos on my channel. I thought that was kind of neat. So, self-indulgence mostly out of the way. The last time I did one of these, it was a vlog/channel update, so vlog/channel update time. I guess what's next?
When I ask what's next, it means I'm ready to move on to other things. So, what's next?
Well, I've got this backlog of unfinished long-form videos, the oft-referred to Doom versus Doom. It's been written, the voiceover's been recorded, and now that I'm playing Doom 3, and I've mentioned it if you watched the Let's Play, I gotta rewrite parts of that. It's mostly the story part, because I kind of talked a lot about Dead Space, but you see some of those elements, those occulty worship elements start to get introduced in Doom 3, so I kind of gotta go back and rewrite that, and then, like, the weird symbols and vision shit, that's Dead Space, but anyway. Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, that's another one that I've mentioned. That one got pushed back. It's written, not recorded. Gameplay's recorded, though. Just needs to do the voiceover and find B-roll. That part actually takes a surprisingly long time. Just getting the right footage to go with the audio takes some time. And then YouTube's audio processing screws everything up so the video looks dire and the audio balance is never quite right. But that's all done. I'm just kind of waiting to see what Ubisoft's doing for timing for the remake, because it was supposed to go in like last fall and then February, and then it just got pushed back indefinitely. So I'll have a timeline for that closer to when Ubisoft has a timeline. Or maybe I'll just get it done by the end of the year, one or the other. What other videos do I have? When we did this for 100 subs, I kind of gave an idea, some of the ideas I had for some of these long-form videos, and I'll give you some of the ones. Besides these two, the one with the most work into it is Mass Effect. I love Mass Effect. I've mentioned that a few times. It's sitting at about 2,000 words before I really get into the heart of, like, the development of the game or the story or the gameplay. Doom vs. Doom, for example, is at 7,600 words. And so it scares me, like, I'm just like a fraction of the way into Mass Effect, and it's like, closing in on a third of that, probably closer to a quarter, a little over a quarter, less than a third of Doom vs. Doom. And like that, I could stretch a Mass Effect video on for years in terms of length. I mean, granted, pushing past 10,000 words for just the one game wouldn't be that surprising to me. I'm pretty sure I could do well over 10,000 words for Mass Effect 3. I mean, the ending controversy alone could probably run like half of that, right? At least it would have in the immediate aftermath. I mean, pick a color and watch the ending over and over and over again while changing the tint on your monitor to get the desired colored outcome. Not the greatest idea for an ending now, is it? Now, some kid who's never beat the game before extended cut got really offended by that statement. But hopefully, Future Steve found that original endings comparison video that basically shows what I described. I know what video I'm looking for. Hopefully Future Steve knows too. Everything else, though, is more or less at, like, the idea in my head stage. There's NHL 2002, which will probably get shoved aside. It's 20 years. It's like one of my favorite NHL games. So I was hoping to do a video about it, but I guess maybe not going to have time. It's not the only EA Sports retrospective I have on the cards. I've titled some half-assed intros for 2 more EA Sports tracks. That's the soundtracks to the EA Sports game. And EA Sports Big. You gotta say that like that. Big. But why am I gonna push all these aside? I have anniversary projects that I have to get a move on. I got 2 of them in mind, in fact. The first being Tomb Raider versus Tomb Raider for the 25th anniversary of Tomb Raider. You know, Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider 1. Tomb Raider, the first Tomb Raider, 1996 Tomb Raider. There we go. That's turning 25 in October, so I've got 2 months to do that. I've actually not really started, so I gotta get on that. And then, not a retro versus, but a retrospective in December for Oregon Trail, the 50th anniversary retrospective. Those, you know, when you're dealing with anniversaries, you really don't want to miss the release window that you kind of set for yourself. And see, that's why Mass Effect, the retrospective, is bumped for Prince of Persia. I was going to release Mass Effect alongside the Legendary Edition, but I focused on Prince of Persia. But, you know, Mass Effect 1's 15th anniversary is next year, so actually I've kind of worked my way into a window for that. And, you know, there's plenty more stuff than that that's never made it past the planning stage. You want to get a peek behind the curtain? So I do love me a good April Fool's joke, right? For example. No, actually, no, it was a completely serious retrospective. A completely serious, and a completely honest, and a completely fair and even-handed retrospective on big rigs over-the-road racing, right? Just happened to be released on April 1st, just a coincidence. Anyway, I was thinking of doing an April Fool's joke live stream this year, and I think you guys would have murdered me, but... well, okay, I say April Fool's joke live stream, but that was the joke, right? It would have been the stream at the starting screen for like an hour or 2, and then I, you know, end the stream, air quotes. Then you hear me, and I say, well, that went well, and I was worried people wouldn't like me doing the live stream, and then all of a sudden, and then, you know, just like, you hear me puttering around then, and shut down, and then the stream goes, and then dies. And, you know, troll you guys for like an hour or something. I had thumbnail and everything done up for it, fly it up. So, I put a lot of time and effort into that, into finding a missing no sprite. What else? The Retro Gaming Pub Quiz. I love trivia, trivia games, trivia shows, podcasts. I thought it would have been fun to do a semi-regular series called, the Retro Gaming Pub Quiz. So every week would have, 11 questions or, 11 points worth of answers out of questions. The first segment would be, a straight question and answer. Here's 5 questions and give me the answer. Then the second segment would be a little different. I have 2 episodes of it written. One was a music quiz, so I play a little snippet of music and you answer what game it is. Or there's the list, it's list, 5 such and such. And you've seen it on the screen. And then the final segment would be the harder-ish question, the final question. Can't say Final Jeopardy. I'd get in trouble. And, you go through all the questions, and they would give the answers, and a little bit of background info. So you test your might, and maybe learn something new along the way. Then you tally up your scores and see how you did. I like the idea. There's a podcast I used to listen to called, Pod Quiz or something like that. The same general idea. I'm not sure how well it would have gone over, even with my plan of having each quiz having a particular theme, so I just scrapped it. And upcoming LPs. I try not to give away what I plan for upcoming Let's Plays too much, because Windows, old games don't always get along, despite my best efforts. That said, you may have noticed I just started Final Fantasy VI. Now, I will let you guys in on a little secret for that one. Final Fantasy VI, was it my first choice? Yeah, kinda. It wasn't the only thing I had in mind. It was down to Final Fantasy VI, and I was looking for the best regarded game in the franchise there, and 6 was the one that came up the most. Then, what else was there? Well, you guys had mentioned Dragon Age Origins a lot, BioWare game, right? So, well regarded, best in that franchise, and then Elder Scrolls 3, you know, as I say, Elder Scrolls, yeah, there's a franchise I've never touched before. So Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, which is often rated as the best in its franchise. Now, I went in Final Fantasy. I won't say the other two out of the question eventually, but, you know, Long Game Tuesday, you just never know, right? Speaking of best games in franchises, let's go to Wednesday. Wide Open Wednesday, the day of the week dedicated to racing games. CARMAGEDDON 2 is just about to wrap up / just wrapped up. Just edit it in your head as appropriate. So viewer suggestions have come in for Wipeout and Twisted Metal. You know, after CARMAGEDDON, vehicular combat needs a little break, so probably Wipeout next. Reading online, it's a toss-up between Wipeout 2097 and Wipeout 3 Special Edition is the best of the franchise. Do we have this thing for the number 2 in Wide Open Wednesdays? So it's like, yeah, it's playing in my head a little bit, you know? Twisted Metal, obviously, the second one. And then after that, I'm really not sure what's on Wide Open Wednesday after those two. You know, maybe return to Need for Speed, maybe something more circuit racing focused. But, oh, right. So we were doing meaningless statistics before. What was the last Wide Open Wednesday Let's Play that didn't have the number 2 in the title? If you answered CARMAGEDDON, you're actually right. CARMAGEDDON 1 ending March 2019. So 2.5 years ago was the last time a Wide Open Wednesday Let's Play did not have the number 2 in title. So, maybe it's time I moved on, maybe not. And then there's the Thursday Friday block. It doesn't have a fancy name, I'm sorry. Right now we're in the heart of Doom 3, so which almost completes my Doom journey. You know, it's a 50-50 split between Steve play Final Doom and Steve don't play Final Doom. Probably because of rage for both camps. But after that, look, I want to say that I got a plan in my head. It all depends on when Doom wraps up. If it wraps up early enough, I think maybe this is the year for Resident Evil. I really want to do the 15th anniversary Tomb Raider Legend Let's Play by the end of the year, since it came out in 2006. Okay, spring 2006, but it's still inside 15-year window. It counts. Returns to Pokemon and Halo, likely next year. I mean, the next Halo game was sort of obvious, isn't it? And, like, the next Pokemon game, you know, I like going back to Pokemon with Ruby. So, I think a jump to 4th gen would be in the cards. I'll get you guys to pick which game and which starter in polls. I mean, it worked out well for Ruby, but that said, I want to do something a little different in between Pokemon and Halo. Might require me to break out the capture card again. That's the teaser you get for that one, because I've never tried capturing a console game before, so I have no idea how well that works. I mean, people do it all the time. It can't be that hard, right? Okay, yeah, that's the real teaser. What classic game does Steve want to play, but can't or won't emulate? I'll let you ponder that. And that's just the short list. I guess short list you see under coming eventually on Channel's About page. After that, anything I've thought about playing kind of goes on an informal long list. This is probably the stuff you are more interested in, is me talking about, you know, how do you keep track of games you want to play, right? So things go on sort of like I call it the long list. It's the games where I'm looking up the game on how long to beat, or, you know, PC Gaming Wiki or Steam forums or abandonware sites, or, you know, to see if I can actually play it, or Wikipedia to see if it's well regarded. You know, a lot of games make it to that stage. Not all of them make it past that. You know, you have some that, you know, make it past that. They make it past the short list to, you know, things like COD 4, Modern Warfare, Star Wars Republic Commando. They've made that step where I actually install them and I actually do test recordings, and then they get dropped because it just doesn't run smoothly. So, you know, I did get a new PC last year, so it might be time to take another look, see if they run well enough for a Let's Play series. But there's also the Mythical 2-Play list. It's all the games in the various back catalogs that I haven't played. That doesn't include emulated titles or abandonware that I'd like to play. You know, if I include all the emulated titles or abandonware that the list is endless. Literally endless. I know one suggestion that I did get was games I have played, and do a list of that, and you just kind of go backwards for that for suggestions. I can start working on that, but I have no idea how the hell I'd even start to, like, just what have I played? It's just like it's probably too many for me to remember, but I can give it a crack too. So, but what else is upcoming? Well, I need a new external hard drive, backup videos, and splices. Because it's nearly full of my external storage. Like 5 years of videos is a fair whack of data, you know? It's like I'm in a constant state of looking to upgrade my microphones as well. I don't want to blow several hundreds, into the thousands, because everything's more expensive in Canada than the States, probably Europe too. I don't want to spend thousands on an XLR setup, trying to find something like, near XLR quality as a USB, not going hot. I know, Blue, there's a Shure one. Yeah, there's good options out there. It's just what's the best option? And I really do want to take a break for the first time in 5 years at some point. I've been saying that, or at least thinking that, for over a year now. It's just when it looked like the pandemic thing was on the right at the tail end, like last September-ish, it started to ramp up. So I just stuck at 5 videos a week. It's like I have 2 jobs, 5 videos a week, so it's kind of tiring, burns you out. So I just, take a week or two in there, just somewhere to just get away from the computer and just decompress for a while. But there's just some weird part of me that says, it would be good length for a break, 7 months, just so I can just use this new Isaac 2187 banger. Hit me with it, Bubba.
I've been away for 7 months. One thing I've really missed. One thing I've really missed is this hidden gem. One thing I've really missed is the Polynesian
Should we go out on that? If you've been watching my Star Wars content for the last year or two, you'd be fairly familiar with the works of Isaac 2187, Star Wars meme musician extraordinaire. I love his stuff, and if you watch my Star Wars vids to the end, you'd know it. Go sub to him on YouTube. I love his music. It's fantastic. So you guys know, do it, right? So you should if you're a Star Wars fan. I think you've heard that. But anyway, I don't want to keep you guys here too much longer for my self-indulgence. So let's wrap up and move on to the 5th anniversary video. I'm not a fan of these channel update type videos anyway. It's literally why this is the second one in the last 5 years. So hit that like button on this video and leave a comment down below. Engagement, it's the name of the game with the great YouTube algorithm, yeah. And in the unlikely event that you've just stumbled upon this video and aren't subscribed, I think you should do that too, though I'm biased. So hit that subscribe button, share on social media, follow on social media. The social media handle is Unsilent on air, and that is where Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr. But don't forget the Steam and Discord groups if you're not there. Links to those are all in the description down below. And don't forget, there's plenty more classic and not so classic games that I've played in the past, present, and future in the playlists. They're on the screen, in the description down below, and more videos anytime on the channel page. And until the next time, I'm Unsilent. For the last 5 years, thanks very much for joining me. Like, share, subscribe, and we will see you next time.